Hello, Dr. Sundstrom and classmates. This is Nicole Dalton, and this is my MPA 594 week number 5 discussion board. In this presentation, the change that's being implemented is transitioning over to Office 365 to have all online files as opposed to being on the city's network. Recently, Todd was hired to be the new assistant to the city manager, and as his first task as the assistant to the city manager, he has to implement the change of moving over to Office 365 for the city manager's office. The three themes that Todd will need to utilize in order to successfully implement this change is building trust, efficiency, and employee motivation. The first theme is building trust, and Todd is going to need to build trust with both his new supervisor, the city manager, and his staff, the entire city manager's office. And he can utilize this by using Gulick's theory of POSCORP. By being a good supervisor and planner and organizing and budgeting, he's going to start building that trust and show the city manager that he's capable of doing the job, and as well as being organized to his department and being a good leader right off the bat. So that'll start building trust and his reputation within the city. Next is Barnard, and when Todd first started with the city of Rancho Cucamonga, the city manager shared with him that there's been a negative connotation with his arrival, and the staff being concerned that Todd was going to have to implement new changes that people were kind of hesitant with. So to combat that, Todd can utilize Mary Parker Follett of the humanistic approach to management, and ways that he can develop this is by taking his staff out to coffee and getting to know them, and on a personal level, wanting to know what their future professional development goals are, how they feel about the department right now, what kind of changes that they would like to see, and start to build that trust and make those employees feel like they're a part of the change rather than those changes just being thrusted upon them with Todd being the new supervisor. So that's just ways that Todd can start building some credibility within the department that he is now supervising. The next theme is efficiency, and this is a huge component of this transition because moving over to Office 365 is really getting the city manager's office up to speed with modern day technology, because it creates more transparency amongst coworkers and the files, and also easier access when people are working either remotely or in different places. And that's a prime example of Frederick Taylor in the One Best Way, trying to find the most efficient way to do the job. And you can also see that clear division of labor because Todd has gone and researched this platform and is now implementing it, and it's something that the new staff is going to have to get used to and cling on to as their new form of work. And next is White, and White says that public administration is the management of men and materials to best meet the needs of the community that they're serving. And this is another example of that because Todd is using this new platform to make the job more efficient, make people work in a better way, working smarter and not harder. And that's really going to be the most efficient use of their resources that they have available. And next is Weber. And because they're implementing a new system, you have to have formal rules and regulations set so there's a clear line of work, because if there isn't that clear line of work or how things are supposed to be done, then it's going to be confusing to the new employees, and it could hinder that efficiency that we're trying to strive for with this change. Along with that, Todd's also going to need to be mindful of Merton and make sure that there's not dysfunctions that start to begin appearing within the bureaucracy like trained incapacity. He'll need to find that balance between the two. And finally is Lindblom, and Lindblom has the branch and root theory. And for this project specifically, using the branch theory method of decision making is going to be a lot more efficient than using the root theory. It's not going to be perfect right off the bat, so they'll need to make small changes and adjustments to the system and the way they work as problems develop throughout it. And if they were to use the root theory, then they would probably never make any progress because they're starting from scratch each time they see a problem arise. The last theme is motivating employees, and this is going to be important for all supervisors. So if Todd utilizes McGregor's Y style of management, he's going to start empowering his employees to show that he trusts them to get the job done. And that's going to create a culture of self-motivated employees, and they're going to want to do the best job that they can instead of having to do a bad job and their supervisor needs to start utilizing X style of management where he has to stand over their shoulders to make sure that the work is getting done. And next is Maslow, and this is going into the hierarchy of needs, and Todd will need to utilize this to keep his employees motivated throughout their career, whatever step they're in, whether that's love and belonging, self-esteem needs, or even self-actualization. And you can transition to any of these at any time in your career. And finally is downs, and that's the life cycle of bureaus. So kind of like people being at different places within the hierarchy of needs, they're going to be at different places within their careers. So you could have climbers who are young employees and are motivated to move up within the organization, and also conservers who are more seasoned employees and they're more motivated by the perks of the job and what kind of benefits that they have. So Todd will need to be mindful of both types of bureaus and what kind of different needs that they'll want. It's not going to be a one size fits all. By utilizing these three themes and the theories that support them, Todd can implement the Office 365 change to the city manager's office successfully. Thank you so much for listening.